everything they're doing, I think, is great. Fran is fucking killing it. She's doing a great job out there. There's a lot of actors, producers that just want us to make a deal right now and call it a day and go back to work. And that's not the way we need to do it all this time. You know, we've suffered a lot. Yes, we have. And we will suffer more to get that right deal because we don't do it now. Like the whole Clooney thing. You know, the whole Clooney thing is like, we're going to get into all this because we have to. Let's just dive into it before we get into our main discussions. Normally, Pepe would talk about this, but unfortunately, Pepe was so pooped when he was doing his segment that he couldn't finish his editing. So Pepe will have his official statement on Monday, everybody. You'll see that then. But George Clooney came out there, in case you haven't heard this, and he got a group of people. Ben Affleck was there, Tyler Perry was there, Scarlett Johansson was there. Oh my God,
Agent Jill, I can't wait. I'm sorry, I mean to interrupt you.
Is Agent Jill back?
You finally got to subscribe.
Fuck yeah, Agent Jill. Cheers. Happy to be back on Cruise Control. That's why.
Mike. I swore it was Mike, and it's not. And I'm like, I don't know. I want to know who you are. Who are you? I need to know. Before
we get there, but before we spring, so George Clooney, all then they said, hey, we're going to take our cap off our dues, which is like $1 million cap. I remember being like 450, 500,000 for a long time. Apparently in 2006, it went up to $1 million. And then if it didn't matter how much you made, after $1 million, you only got, you paid your dues based off $1 million. So you're making 50 million a year. It's only based off $1 million, as opposed to the rest of the unions based off a percentage of the money you make every year. And so it's like 0.25%, Sabrina, is that what it is?
Yes.
Exactly. And so like they're talking about getting rid of that, and then they'll
2.5%.
Yeah, and they said that it would be 150 million if you do that for all the higher ups that are actors. It would be 150 million over 3 years, be going to the union to pay for pension, health, and to pay for residuals. Well, Fran Drescher came out and said that's not legal. You can't do that. That we just can't do it. Even if we want to do it, we can't. That's not the problem. The problem is the AMPTP giving us that deal and figuring it out. Because honestly, we've been fighting with them. Like I get it. It's a good thing. You're trying to help, George. I understand. You're trying to put something out there to help the actors out. Like sometimes people are like, throw money at it. Maybe it'll help. Maybe it'll work. But we don't really know at this point. And really, AMPTP just needs to fucking settle down, talk, and have a conversation and figure it out. That's what I think it comes down to. What's racer are you laughing about?
What is Batman in on this?
Bad racer are you laughing about?
What is Batman in on this?
Batman should be in on this. Batman should be the fucking team will be like, hey, what's the deal? But he
means Nichols Clooney, Brian. Let's get it together.
Back Clooney. But here's the thing. McKay has not been on the show before.
100 degrees. Don't mind me. I'm in church.
To talk about this subject. So I'm going to start with McKay on this. So McKay, you hear about you've been keeping up. You're an actor. You're part of SAG. You understand what's going on. We haven't had you on the show. What do you think about the ongoing SAG strike? And do you think that a deal will actually come soon, or we have to wait till the end of the year? What are your thoughts, man? Give us your insight.
Oh, McKay.
Sure. So a little bit of background for this. So I worked at Disney for several years, and at one point I was in a group that unionized. And during that process, we got a lot of insight because I was at the table pretty much every single day of it. I got a lot of insight on how these companies work, specifically at the table. And it is a lot of stalling. It is a lot of bargaining in bad faith. I mean, it was to the point that our rep was like, you're screwing with us. You're not coming to the table with anything. And I can't help but believe that this is exactly what's happening. Everything I've read, everything I've dug into about all of this is just endless bad faith, walking out. Like, you can come in and say, hey, we want total random example, but we want something that is 1 foot. And they would come back and be like, cool, we'll give you a third. And they would just say, why? And it would just be because if you start giving in to little things, that all adds up because, I can't fight for everything. So I'll just give here and there, and that all adds up. And at one point, it got so bad several months in that we would present one proposal that was like 2 sentences long. And we would say, hey, give us your feedback. And they would like call a recess. They would go out for 4 hours and come back and say, nope. And it was just the most time wasting, most aggravating because they want you to give up. So when all of that stuff first came out where they said, oh, we'll starve them out or whatever it was about have a bad Christmas. And
lose their apartments and all that.
Exactly. I was not shocked at all because I sat here going, of course they did. This is the same shit they always do. It's their playbook. At one point they sat when we were heated. I mean, our rep was very angry. It was shouting at one point back and forth. And they said, like, look, there's like 16 of them across from us, and then it's like our union rep and like 6 of us, and trying to be intimidating. And at one point they said, look, like a percentage of our annual profits is put aside into a separate fund, a rainy day fund, so we could do whatever we want. And who cares? We have the money set aside for this. If we get in trouble, it doesn't matter. And if we don't, then it's a win. So all of this reflects back on all of that because it's the same companies. It's the same nonsense. They all share the same playbooks. They know what works. It's the same union busting tactics.
We do not negotiate with terrorists thing. That's what they're saying. That's what they're pretty much going at. And you're like, fuck, like, we're not terrorists. We work here. Like, what's fuck?
Yeah.
Unless they really start to hurt, they don't care. And it's not like, oh, we're pressuring them, we're hurting them. Something has to happen where either enough people get pissed off or they get hit hard enough monetarily, which I think is part of what happened with the writer's strike. They found a good medium. I haven't gotten into the details deep enough, so I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here. But
they actually gave them quite a bit.
They did. Okay, good. That's what I heard, but I didn't dig in enough. But
I think the sticking point with SAG with AMPTP is the AI. I think it's much more prevalent with your facial recognition and shit like that, as opposed to the writing thing, because you would still need to have, even if you had AI write a script, there still has to be writers to like proofread and fix it. Like you still have a job. But if you scan an actor, they don't have a job.
That's it. That's one job. That's it.
That's a real sticking point. I think that's what they can't come to terms with. I think that's the big problem, honestly. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right.
But the thing, Sabrina, like the AMPTP put a whole thing out there, like this is what they did this with the writers too, with WGA. They put it out there. This is what we offer them. Look at how good this deal is. So they get people maybe fight against each other. And what they put out there, I'm going to say though, I read the AI breakdown and it seemed like it was a lot closer to what we want than we ever had before back in July. Yeah, that's like and that's what Crabtree. That's what Crabtree was saying, though. He was like, "Don't believe this because they're not
bullshit.
There's a lot of fine print on here. Like the bullet points, they sound great, but the fine print, there's ways they can get around it, and that's what it always comes down to: the fine print. How they can work it out so that you get screwed at the end of the day, and they still get their money.
Exactly.
You know,
what was that?
That's Friday.
Really? Was that an impression?
Things you see the profits. It's just the fact that they won't budge is just aggravating. Yeah. One of the shows I worked on, they had like a 360 thing with Nikon or whatever cameras up and down, and they did a 360 scan, and this was during COVID. So it was this cool, revolutionary new thing. Thankfully, it was I was in like a costume and things that covered my face. I can't get into it too much, just in case. But they did a full body scan.
Actor's life.
Yes.
Oh, really?
They were like, this is so great because now we can do all these stunts and crazy things with you, and we don't have to bring you back. And I said, that sounds like I'm just losing work. And they laughed. And like, that's the future.
That's stealing.
And here we are years later, and it's like, you guys literally took my likeness, my
how long ago was that?
I watched those episodes.
The Unionized Dwarfs, Lexi. That's awesome.
2021. It was way before this all really kicked off. It must have been 2021. Yeah.
What? Can you sue yourself in other episodes?
Yes, 3 episodes.
No,
you have to sue.
There's no face though. It was. That's how I think they got away with it. But
that's infuriating.
Go flying, and I'm like, that's. I know that's me because I was in it, for days. But it's like, I
McKay.
And they're like, yeah, how cool.
Hell no.
And so 2 years ago, I'm sitting here going, this is a problem, and people are like, yeah, whatever. And so now it's happening. I'm going, this happened. I was there, and I had a whole argument with the guy, and he was like, whatever, it's the future. And so now it was cool your future. To see, but it was fucked.
I mean, getting Queen Glam is saying that getting scanned sounds fun, and sure, if you're getting scanned for a super suit, you're getting scanned for a super suit, sure, super fun. But if you're getting scanned to be ripped off for your fucking financial fucking well-being, that's the opposite of fun.
It's like I said a million times, they scanned me for Ant-Man.
Wow, McKay,
There's like 500 cameras, take a bunch of pictures of you. Yeah. We're in the Ant-Man costume. We're in a Baskin Robbins costume. Then they could remake you with somebody else's face, Paul Rudd's face, and you're fine. And for them, you're fine. Rachel, do you think this is going to end? Do you think this is just like...
Rachel, everybody, drink. And Rachel, your question starts now.
Rachel, do you think that this is just like, because we've been talking about this for how long, Rachel? I mean, you've been back, like, we're fucking talking about this strike still. Do you think that we're ever going to budge on this? Because it just seems like it's just going to go for the rest of the year.
Just tell them, sure, you can scan us, but you're going to have to pay us the full rate for whatever you use it for.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, oh, well, fuck that. That's not worth doing. Which I'm sure somebody somewhere has proposed, and it's been.
It has to hurt them somehow. I think you're completely right.
It absolutely has to be not beneficial
But
to do it.
the thing is that if they scan you and use you, how the fuck are you gonna know?
That's
like,
Fran will know. Fran will fucking know. Fran will get in there and she'll smack some bitches upside the head.
That's a hot picture of Fran. She looks very Lady Gaga-ish. She's like, hey, girl,
I gave you the hot Fran.
Sassy Fran.
Sassy Fran.
Damn, girl.
Yo, bitch.
Who did your eye makeup?
You might like it, but you know what?
Like
You're gonna hate it too.
Negotiations, you're getting whatever you want.
Yeah, she has a little bit of like a Leah Remini vibe going on also, which is kind of interesting.
They call her the main negotiator for a reason. That's that they do it for a reason.
She had the fire fit from 99 to fucking 2003. Fire fit, Fran.
She's like, you're not doing that in the bathing suit to the last negotiation. We're making it happen.
Mr. Kekaula. Mr. Kekaula, do you think
it'll be great?
Sabrina, that was fantastic. That was it.
Nailed it.
Mr. Kekaula, do you think that though? Do you think that they say the AI is close, right? But do you think, because the big problem really is the residuals, and we had the whole conversation about this. Fran said it's illegal actually for all the higher ups in the union to give a percentage or they take that cap away and put it in towards the health and pension. Apparently it's a legal thing where the producers, the employers, are the people that actually feed into the health and pension. And so they couldn't do that even if they wanted to. Do you think that Clooney had no idea that this was supposed to be a thing going into these negotiations? I mean, it feels like he just thought I think it's a great thing. I feel like I can throw money, maybe I can help, and all these other higher ups, but it's just weird. You think that he would have known more going into this, that he just couldn't do this. How do you feel about the situation?
Hold on.
Hold on,
Keoki. I'm sorry. I have to be a cunt again. I apologize. I'm going to say bitch instead. That's more palatable for some people, not the people in Britain, because they love that. So Agent Chilla wants to know what everyone's drinking, and Agent Chilla is the person who I really need to know who they are. So it's driving me nuts. So we're going to have to tell Agent Chilla what we're drinking. I'm drinking Jack and Coke, Agent Chilla.
Jack and Coke.
Also Jack and Coke. Okay, what do you got, bud?
I have Old Forester, which is given to me. It's pretty nice.
On the rocks or straight up?
With a little bit of DP, strawberries and cream.
Oh,
so, I got fancy. Weird
and not fancy at all, by the way.
Oh, it's delicious and fantastic. Have some. You'll enjoy it.
I'm not saying it's not fantastic. It's not fancy. You use the word fancy.
It's fancy because it tastes better than the fucking scotch I'm drinking. So
you're using a pint glass to put straight whiskey in with Dr. Pepper strawberry.
Hey.
Fancy
it's Friday.
That's as fancy as it gets. And guess what? No ice. Listen, no ice. That's how fancy I am, because I'm taking it into my body. Bonding. It's bonding with me right now.
Let's just real quickly. Ryan, plastic bottle vodka. Guess what? I drink plastic bottle vodka, but I don't call it fancy. Let's call it what it is. Okay, not fancy. Spectacular, not fancy.
Rachel, what you got down there?
Fancy. Glass bottle, fancy.
Fair enough, Keoki. You win. You win.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, what do you got?
Rachel, what you got there? Rachel already.
McKay.
I'll go back to McKay. I love McKay.
Oh, yes.
I'll be here.
McKay, wait till next week.
McKay, what do you have?
Hell yeah.
No, wait till next week. No.
I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm sorry. People are jumping at me. I'm sorry. Welcome back.
Yeah, don't turn McKay into fucking, what's his name? I forget even got his name. Matt Damon. Don't turn him into Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
All right. I know. We'll see. Sorry, we don't have enough time for that. We'll just get him next time.
You fucked Rachel. You just made
Rachel. What fuckery going on tonight? Friday.
3 times.
I asked McKay before he asked you, okay, Rachel's drinking rum and Coke. Keoki's drinking not fancy drinks. McKay is drinking ?
Irish cream liqueur that I got from Costco, because the Kirkland brand, it can Kirkland. And coffee.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Hey, all right. You say that.
Someone say 7 a.m. I'm glad you're doing that at 7:15 p.m. Like, this is more of my AM routine.
It's a great role. I love it. Love it, McKay.
Because I wanted to make sure I was pumped for this.
That's it.
I love it.
McKay, welcome to Drunk Fridays on Cruise Control. So there's a lot going on.
Oh shit.
Ryan, go to Costco. It's in buy Costco vodka instead of plastic vodka.
Yes, Ryan.
It's way better quality, and you get like a giant fucking thing of it.
When you talk, I forget.
It's delicious.
Glass goes a long way, Ryan.
Oh, I love
Keoki,
Scanner Darkly.
What do you think about this? Do you think a deal's coming soon? What do you think?
Well, George should already know his wife's a lawyer, so she should have been able to see or glance at a few documents. He has friends. He's been in the industry for over 35 to 40 years, so he already knows what to expect, especially when putting all that money into it. If he did that, it would set a precedent, so they can't do it legally because he's giving that money over, which is sad because he knew it wouldn't work, but he's giving the good look, which is awesome, but sadly it doesn't help us because SAG needs to make sure that, like McKay said, the company needs to hurt from this in order for it to make sense. And so that's the sad part about it is we have to make sure their bottom dollar gets hurt as time goes on. Now, Soros or throw it in that's saying, hey, there's going to be transparency with Netflix. That's the part where we need to make that happen, but it's going to try to pull us out another 3 months in order for them to make sure that they can actually get something to the table that says, all right, you know what, they are losing money. Netflix is always funny money because they haven't been transparent about their money this entire time. So hopefully George and everybody else can understand, like, hey, we need to make this deal. Let's get this shit going. But fuck, man. It's sad.
I know. Hey, Pepe was supposed to have a whole segment right here, and I feel bad, so give him a second. So
hold on. Can you acknowledge how do you know he breaks everything? Because he does.
Hey, Ryan, calm your butt down. Calm your butt down. Because glass still has class. Glass equals class. Plastic equals ass.